The year was 2020. It felt like everyone had a hardcore Iron Man, and I was no exception to the rule. My account was booming. I had my Dragon Warhammer, I had my full Bandos, I had my full Arma, and I even managed to live through PKers long enough to get myself a Dragon Pickaxe. But there were two major roadblocks standing in my way: raids and Commander Zilliana. Now, I feel like at this point a lot of you guys know how my luck typically goes on this game, but my hardcore Iron Man was something else. In fact, I was so dry at Commander Zilliana that I actually managed to get rank 1 for all hardcores ever to exist. And to this day, I am still on the front page for that boss, despite not playing this account in over 4 years. But today, that changes. Okay, not like today, because that would be some insane luck, and I have some other things to do first. But in this video, I will return to that barren wasteland of a boss, and I will get the Armadyl Crossbow and the Saradomin Godsword, even if I go freakishly dry again. Saradomin God Wars isn't the only thing on the docket for today, though. Despite getting a fair few items in the last video, there's still a lot of empty slots in my Inferno setup, and the best place to fix that is Barrows. Now, you guys all know what Barrows is. Kill some very outdated NPCs, loot a chest, get some items, easy clap. There are only two things that I absolutely need from here, and that would be a tank body and a tank helm. There's tons of other things that I could potentially get from here that would save me time, but I can potentially get decent alternatives at other places. But first, a quick pit stop. Now, this is a very simple item to check off the Inferno gear list: a crystal shield. Stupidly high defensive bonuses at the cost of some accuracy, but it's probably the best I'm gonna get, and I had some excess gold anyway. And speaking of excess items, I had a bunch of leftover chaos runes from all the Zolari I did in the last episode, so I figured since I'm gonna get more from Barrows anyway, I might as well just convert them to Tokel so I can head over here and pick up the obsidian plate body and obsidian plate legs. I didn't have melee armor, so... And immediately after doing that, I remembered that I have Void. Really not a whole lot of point in having bought that obsidian, but maybe I'll find a use for it somewhere. I also realized I have the Gommel's Hill 2 thanks to the random passive combat achievement I already had done, which means that I can stand in these crypts as long as I want, and outside of if I actually have overheads active, I'm not going to lose any prayer. Shout out combat achievements. You guys have probably noticed that I'm not killing anything in the tunnels, and the reason for that is because all that's gonna do is give me some blood runes, which are nice, but like I mentioned earlier, I have a lot of excess GP right now. If that changes, I'll start killing stuff in the tunnels. Since it's not something I really need, I might as well save the time and just complete the chests a little bit faster. Oh, wow. Okay. That is so phenomenal, I can't even put it into words. This is actually, like, insanely good. I did say that technically this isn't one of the main items I'm here for, but the fact that it's specifically the Carol's top is very, very nice, because it means that my backup plan for getting range armor for Inferno becomes a lot easier. There's a chance we end up just getting the Carol's skirt as well. Even better than a Carol's top. Click that, please. It helps a lot. Hey, not tank body, but it's pretty cool. Oi, there it is, the tank body. Now, technically, I don't need a tank helm, because the Serp helm does have pretty decent defensive stats, but it's a relatively easy upgrade to go for, and if I end up going dry, there's still a chance of getting the other piece of Carol's or a piece of Aram's. I might as well do it while I'm here. Wait, what the fuck? How do I have a Carol's leather skirt? I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm very happy to have that, but how do I have it? It wasn't in the chest. I mean, that has to be some kind of glitch. I've never, ever seen that before. I'm looking back at the recording right now. I'm staring at it. The Barrows chest says value 503k, but there's only mind runes and coins in there. I just got a Carol's leather top and Carol's leather skirt before getting a tank helm. That is phenomenal. The alternative to this is I was actually going to go and do Huekodal to get the chaps, which is why I was super excited to get the Carol's top, because the chaps would mean that I wouldn't have to risk potentially not getting enough Huekodal hides. So that's the weirdest glitch I've ever seen, though. Hey, there's another item. Unfortunately, it's another pair of tank legs. Oh, wow. That's an Aram's rope top. So Barrows was the right call. for sure. Well, so far Barrows is going substantially better than I ever expected. I have 3 pieces of armor that are more or less required for the Inferno, but I plan on getting them in other ways. So hey, if I can get them here, that's a lot of time saved. Oh, that's another item. Unfortunately, that one is pretty much entirely useless. Guthan's chain skirt. Another Varix flail. Alright, hammers. There might actually be a use case for that, but I will cover that if we get there. Oh, hey, that's actually kind of crazy. I decided to open up my log and check. Those Torax hammers were the last thing I needed, and if I were playing this account as like a collection log account, finishing Barrows chests in just over 1,000 is actually pretty phenomenally good, I'm pretty sure. You know, maybe that's a sign for future things. Oh, there's the double chest that has the tank helmet and somehow also our third Varix flail, which is a bit strange, but it's irrelevant because I have the tank helm. Now, my plans didn't exactly account for being this lucky at Barrows. I mean, I was going to be over the moon if I got like one piece of Ranger Mage armor, but here I am with 3 out of the 4 pieces that I needed. So what am I going to do to fill the Mage leg slot? Shades of Morton. Now, a lot of things have changed since I last played the account, which is clearly becoming a recurring theme here, but one of those things is Shades of Morton actually being useful. Now, I'm not talking about the prayer outfit or the locks or anything else besides an item called the Bloody Notes. Now, this is an item that most people shrug off, but put simply, it would allow me to make Bloodbark armor, which is actually pretty close to Aram's stat-wise. It loses a small bit of accuracy, but it still has the mage strength on it. Now, there's still some RNG involved in this route. It's a hell of a lot better than potentially being stuck at Barrows for 1,000 chests, so let's get going. Now, the whole minigame itself is actually pretty simple. Step 1, I'm going to repair this temple to make a bunch of sacred oil. Sacred oil on these logs. Does this go automatically now? Does. That's kind of nice. Kill some of the lower tiered shades to gain access to the higher tiered ones. Don't know why I got excited about it. Hey, never mind. I was joking about getting excited over an Amulet of the Damned. There is the Bloody Notes. Once I read these, there's going to be a Runes of Bloodbark on the ground. I will drop this random adamant spear, pick that up, and bam. Now I have access to making the Bloodbark armor. I'm going to blow through the rest of these keys first because I'll get a couple of alcohols from them, and then we'll go do that. All right, I think I just do this. Boom, there we go. Bloodbark legs acquired. And with that done, we actually now have the bulk of our gear ready for the Inferno. So now it's time to head to Commander Ziliana and get the big weapon upgrade. But first, a little bit of prep. Step 1 of my prep is to mine and chop about 1,000 amethysts to make them into darts. Got a couple of clues from all of those amethysts. Let's see if we get anything cool. Absolutely not. Next step of prep is getting all of the diamond bolts together. I have all of the adamant thanks to Zolra, but I'm buying the diamonds from the Czar gem shop. Yep, I'll be back once I make 10,000 diamond bolts. Next thing on the docket is to get myself some marks of grace to make stamina potions. And then I went and killed every God Wars boss in order to gain access to the next bank. More on that in a minute. I just got a combat test for killing a greater demon, I'm pretty sure. Now, after all that prep, I'm sure some of you might be wondering why I gained access to the next area of the God Wars dungeon. Now, it's not because I'm planning on camping for a Zerite crossbow or anything. It's simply to streamline the process of God Wars dungeon. Instead of teleporting out when I'm out of supplies, I can simply just run over to the Zeros portion of the God Wars dungeon, and by getting a lot of KC here in advance, I can immediately access the bank area. By doing this, I don't lose my room KC, and I'll be able to immediately re-enter both the bank here and then the Ceradome and God Wars room, and I can go immediately back to fighting the boss. It's also why I prepped all of those supplies ahead of time, so I don't have to leave very often. It might seem kind of minor, but in the grand scheme of things, this could save a lot of time, and it's something I'd have to do for the account eventually anyway, so why not just do it now? Now, Commander Ziliana is probably one of the easiest God Wars bosses to do, and it's been that way since it was released on Old School. It's essentially just run around the room, don't get too greedy on your hits, and hope you don't disconnect, or get motion sickness from from spinning your camera around constantly. But why am I here? Two items, actually. The Armadillo crossbow and the Saradomin hilt. The armor crossbow is just a better version of the rune crossbow and offers some extended attack range, which would make the Inferno, especially Zuck, a hell of a lot easier. Now, the Saradomin hilt would provide me a spec weapon that restores hit points in prayer, which is gonna be pretty helpful for a guy like me who's only done the Inferno a few times. These items are both pretty rare though, and this is one of the bosses that really burnt me out on the account last time. Let's hope we can just power through it and get the items in a reasonable amount of kills this go around. See that's why you brought the Serp Helm, because some of these kills take so long, the minions actually die to venom and are gonna respawn, which is not ideal, obviously, but hey, more chance for Godsword shards, I suppose. Hey, there's our first drop at the boss. Unfortunately, it is pretty much completely useless. I'll take a Saradomin sword, add it to the, well, I was gonna say add it to the collection, but I guess I don't really have a collection anymore, so restart the collection, I suppose? Hey, Godsword Shard 1. That's actually really relevant right now because I'm gonna need all of the Godsword Shards in order to get full hilt, which I'll elaborate on later. I am now past 1,700 KC here at Commander Ziliana. For fun, I decided to check the high scores to kind of see what rank 1 is, and it's actually not that far off. Rank 1 currently is like a little over 2,500 KC, and it doesn't seem like anyone's really doing the boss that's already this high up, so hey, at least if I end up going dry here, which, you know, it's way too early to know, I might end up getting my rank 1 back again, which is kind of funny. Yo, let's fucking go. We got spooned in armor crossbow. Picking that up right away just in case I disconnect or something. Dude, yes. That is amazing. That is so good to get early. We just elk this rune one straight away. Hell yes, dude. I really wasn't expecting to get something so early. Well, I'll elaborate on it more after the trip so I don't like accidentally die or do something very stupid here. But ear to ear grin, man. Ear to ear grin already. That is amazing. Truth be told, at Ziliana, this isn't actually going to make a huge difference because the attack range doesn't mean much. It is a pretty big accuracy jump, but I don't really have access to Dragon Bolts and don't really want to risk my account to gain access to a surplus of Dragon Bolts. I wouldn't use them here even if I had them. Same bolts means pretty much not a whole lot's going to change, but it's just much nicer to look at, and that's pretty important. Yo! Let's go, baby! And I got a combat achievement at the same time. Saradomin Hill, there it is. I can just leave. I don't actually need to be in here anymore. Okay, well, actually, I'm about to take a bunch of fucking damage, and that was very dumb. Because there's actually nothing else from here that I need. I said this when I was doing Zulrah, that if I went stupidly dry at Zulrah, that was perfectly fine, as long as I got lucky here. And I did. Now, the astute among you have probably noticed something quite glaringly obvious. I have the hilt. That's great. This is the item, or one of the items, that defeated this account in the past. But there's one problem. I can't use it. Well, I mean, I can't use it yet, I guess. In order to make this a functioning weapon, I need to get all 3 Godsword shards to make the blade. That didn't really happen passively while I was there at Ziliana, so I kind of need to figure out a backup plan. I guess I have 2 real options here. Option 1, I go to Kriara to try and get the Godsword shards. This could be great because I could get pieces of armor, which are slight upgrades over the Carols that I'm currently wearing. Option 2, I go to General Grador. Not quite as useful items from this place, but the Bandos boots would be a slightly more defensive option for the Inferno, and this is probably a lot faster because I won't need Chinchampas. I'll have to take a look at some DPS calculators and try and figure this out. I never really realized this, but when you compare a Carol's top to an Arma chestplate, the stat differences are borderline negligible, especially since neither one offers range strength. That pretty much just means that I'm only going to be looking for whichever boss is faster to kill so I can get the shards faster, since the main boss drop items don't really matter all that much. When I compare my setup at these bosses, going to Grador is like 50% faster kills than Kree, and is rangeable in basically the same way as Ziliana, so I think that's kind of the plan. Now, Bandos isn't really the focus of this video, so I will keep this short, but yeah, it's basically just running around the room and shooting the boss. The only difference between this and Ziliana are that you need to be attacking General Grador on specific tiles due to the way that the larger NPC model moves around. Luckily for me, I got that ancient staff earlier as well, so I can actually just barrage back my health off the minions in between kills. Well, I guess I'll see you guys in a little bit. God. Well, Jesus Christ. You guys remember like all that stuff I just said about Bandos being safer? Take all that back. I'm gonna go hunt some chins and we're gonna do Arma instead. How are you? Kidding me? A moron. Because I stopped clicking during the minions. My teleport crystal saved me. Quote, quote, saved me. Minus 75k, minus 1 hour of prep time. Are you kidding me? Why would that even teleport me there? I was literally clicking. Why did that even teleport me? I don't understand. Yo! Pick that up immediately. That is a nice little bonus item right there, isn't it? Little Arma chest plate. I did say I was not here for the pieces of Arma, but I'm now very, very glad that I decided to do this boss. That was like the last kill of the task too. I've been having to do Slayer boosting and stuff, but I'm not really giving you guys too much of the background on this, since essentially I'm just going for the God Sword shards, and there's no point adding a crazy narrative to this spin of the story. That Arma chestplate is actually a pretty nice and welcome upgrade. Again, like I said before, it's not like it's going to be a make or break change for the account or anything. It's definitely nice to have. Ooh, wow. That's another unexpected item. I'm going to pick it up again in case I accidentally stop clicking for 5 seconds and let my teleport crystal go off. Arma helmet. Unfortunately, that's not really particularly useful for me. Cool, though. I might be able to find some use for that somewhere. Hey, I haven't had that one before. That's an Arma hilt. Kind of cool. Pretty fucking useless, but kind of cool. I will say it's kind of strange coming to the realization that I have had 2 hilts in this video, and I'm still missing a Godsword blade. Kind of strange. Is a longbone interesting enough for a clip? I don't know, you decide, Mr. Editor. Alright, so a little over 200 kills at Kriar now, and I think I'm just gonna go back and do Ziliana. Between the hunting tasks for this boss, the hunting chins for this boss, and the fact that you have to kill spiritual mages to get KC and whatnot, it just wears you down after a while. Ziliana's a lot more brain off, and hopefully should be a little bit more relaxing for me going for this last shard. Yo! The literal first trip back here at Ziliana, and that's the shard 3. No duplicates. I can just tele out of here. That's it. I don't understand. I'm so... That took 9 kills since I stopped at Ziliana. 9 kills, I'm pretty sure. That's insane. I'm just so not used to, like, not getting an insane amount of duplicates and whatnot when I do these things. I don't know. I'm actually genuinely kind of dumbfounded. I'm just like, I'm actually really shocked that I got no duplicates on the shards. I got all the items that I wanted and an Arma chestplate. Like, this is awesome. And the long-awaited item, the Saradomin Godsword. I actually have a Saradomin Godsword on my account now, too. Holy shit, man. What an episode. Well, I guess after all of the weird little detours, I did end up with some pretty fierce-looking gear. Locking myself in Godwar's Dungeon for a while definitely paid off. With all this stuff, we're just about ready to go. So I'll see you guys in the next video, where I will finally get my cape and complete my account.